Ever been accused of being there but not being present? You might be emotionally unavailable without even knowing it. Now don't take this the wrong way, we're not saying you're cold or uncaring, it's just that sometimes we can be a little, well, emotionally distant. And that's okay, we're all human after all, but it's always good to be aware, don't you think? So what is emotional unavailability? Well, it's when you avoid intimacy, have difficulty expressing emotions, have fear of commitment, or when you're inconsistent in communicating. Imagine you're an oyster. You've got this hard, tough shell on the outside, but inside you're all soft and squishy. For some of us, that shell can be a little too tough, making it hard for our squishy insides to connect with those around us. Could you be emotionally unavailable? Well, here are a few signs. Do you find it difficult to express your feelings? Are you the type who'd rather clean the toilet than talk about your emotions? If your partner asked you to share your deepest fears, would you instead find an urgent need to organize the car garage all of a sudden? Or perhaps you steer clear of close relationships. You may have commitment issues due to past experiences. Are you always the one who's too busy, always putting work before personal relationships? Or you could be physically present but emotionally distant. If your idea of a romantic date is bringing your laptop or scheduling phone meetings during dinner, then yes, you might be a tad emotionally unavailable. Now, we're not judging. We're just stating the facts. And remember, it's okay, we all have our quirks, but it's always good to be aware and work on ourselves, isn't it? So if you've been nodding along thinking, wait, that sounds like me, you might just be one of us, the emotionally unavailable. But don't worry, there's hope for us. Now, transforming from an emotional fortress to an open book isn't as simple as flipping a switch, but it can be a realistic goal. First off, let's talk about practicing mindfulness. Now, I know what you're thinking. Mindfulness? Isn't that just a fancy word for sitting still and doing nothing? Well, not exactly. Mindfulness is more about being present in the moment, feeling your feelings as they come, being aware of them without judging them. It's like being a tourist in your own mind, seeing, learning everything, noting, accepting it without judgments. Next up, seeking therapy or guidance counselor. Now don't roll your eyes. Therapy or counseling isn't just for those with a full-blown crisis on their hands. It's like having a personal guide to help navigate through your emotional landscape. And hey, who doesn't need a little guidance every now and then? And if counseling isn't an option for you, grab a book about self-help or self-improvement, or simply tap the subscribe button to our channel, where we talk about personal development and how we can be our better selves. People who are open to gaining knowledge will reap the benefits. Finally, learning to identify and express feelings. Now, this doesn't mean you have to become a walking, talking emotion machine. It's more about recognizing what you're feeling and why, then expressing it in a healthy way. It's like being your own emotional detective, and the case you're working on is yourself. These are just a few steps on the journey to becoming more emotionally available. Remember, it's about progress, not perfection. Mastering a new skill is like sculpting a masterpiece from a block of marble. It takes time, patience, and countless chisel strokes. Your emotional walls weren't built overnight, take it one day at a time. So, are you an emotional fortress or an open book? Or maybe somewhere in between? We want to hear from you. Let's start a conversation down in the comments. And if you have topics you're curious about, we'd love to explore them in future videos. Don't forget to like this video for more personal development tips. And remember, sharing is caring, so feel free to share this video with anyone who might find it useful.